Nation. I'm here today with Stephen Kuhn. He's from Benson, Minnesota, and he has a International Harvester 240 utility that he got from his great uncle, who also got it from his great uncle. So it's been in the family for a really long time, and he did a complete restoration on it. But there's some things that he left and did not restore, and other things he did. But this has a lot of history. He used it when your great uncle was alive. You mowed.
Yeah, it had a mower, the 5-foot woods behind it.
And so you actually operated this thing when it was working. So tell us, how did you end up with this permanently?
Well, ended up 2010. My granduncle ended up passing away on my 24th birthday.
Oh man!
So, and this is the one he had left in the will. Said this is the one I get.
This is Stevens.
This is the one I had wrenched on in the garage. And then this is the one he always hauled the braids for me, and I guess this was of all the ones in his collection, this was the one with the most sentimental value to me.
Wow, that is so amazing. So did you were saying when you were in FFA, you put in a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Was it working on this tractor?
Like doing the 12-volt conversion on it.
Wow, 59 and it's still 6-volt.
Yeah. So
you did complete 12-volt conversion.
Yep. And we went through the rear end, replaced axle seals, normal. But yeah, we just threw a cheap paint job on it. It was missing half the hood skirting.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just the one he let me run around with
all the time.
Then when he passed away, left it to me, I figured that was one of the greatest birthday presents I could have ever had.
Yeah.
And
he thought a lot of you.
We did. He'd haul me all over the shows, and I still blame him for my love of polka music for going to all the tractor shows. But yeah, I thought we were gonna host the Chapter 15 club, and I had a 2-year start on this. I figured,
That's Chapter 15 of the International Harvester Collectors.
Yep.
Okay.
And
that's Minnesota.
Yes.
Minnesota.
And I kind of wanted to. I was trying to run this thing for feature. Well, first of all, I was just going to replace the head gasket, fix the radiator, give it a paint job. Well, next thing I know, it's scattered. I'm using my uncle Chip. My uncle Chip Ruby was nice enough to let me use his shop on the farm, and next thing I know, it's sitting in pieces all over the floor.
Just piles of nuts and bolts and chunks of iron.
It's like, well, now I'm committed, so I might as well go through it.
Do the whole thing completely and do it right from the start.
Yeah.
So you went through that, got it all back together. How'd you get it painted?
Well, luckily I'm lucky enough that my uncle, my dad's oldest brother.
Your dad's oldest brother
has the family body shop. So, and I was working for Case at the time. We ended up having a 4.5-month layoff, and just to stay busy, I wanted to get this thing done. So I started trading, working for him and learning how to do the body work for him to lay the paint.
Okay, so you traded your uncle labor hours, you doing all the grunt work, all the sanding and stuff in his body shop. Man, there's a lot of flies in here. Doing all the grunt work in order to get him to spray the paint on it for you. You did a great job. So, what are some of the things? What's a couple of things you didn't do, and a couple of things you had to really do to the body work? You want to tell me about those?
Well, the fun part is, the body panels got all set in the corner, and somebody had thrown a tarp on it.
Oh,
and this tank cover actually accidentally got stepped on. The one piece that has all the curves.
The curviest part on the whole tractor gets stepped on under a tarp.
Yeah, and the fun part was I ended up having to find I went and found a new one because I was kind of trying to make the show, or try to get done in time for our show. So I went and found another one on eBay quick. Well, then afterwards I went through and fixed the original, so now that one's hanging up in the shop.
Okay.
But there's between, if you include all the body, the fixing the dents, priming, wet sanding, and that laying of paint. There's probably close to 300 hours. About
300 hours in just the paint.
Between the 3 hood pieces, straightening the grill out,
And the fenders.
and fixing fenders.
And you said it had a huge dent right here on the side of the hood here, where you think it came with a loader that was way too big for it to start with. And you figure somebody just messed it up with the loader. So the loader had to go away because it should have been on a tractor probably twice the size of this one. And there's one thing that you said, I'm not going to fix, and what was that?
It would be the dust covers for the bearings on the front spindles.
So you didn't change that, and how did those get so beat up?
Well, you know, I started driving this thing and mowing. My great uncle had bluebird houses on 4x4 posts in the corners of the lots. Well, there was a few times I'd be watching the mower and didn't start turning fast enough, and I'd clip the dust covers.
So you're clipping the dust covers on a 4x4 post in corners of the place where you're mowing.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, you know, it's something I did, so, you know, it's like you can't totally erase the tractor's history.
If you erase the tractor's history, then you lose the effect that it had on you, and the effect it had on you when he gave it to you.
And one of the biggest mods we did on this thing, or the headlights used to be mounted up on top at the end of the grill piece.
Okay.
And it had raised portions. Well, I wanted to put the lights back where they're supposed to be. And so we ended up pounding the raised portions flat, welding them shut, and then finishing it off just to clean up the hood a little.
Yeah, and just to get them back on the sides where they belong. Wow, that's dedication right there. I can see how you can end up with so many hours in it. Well, Stephen, I can see it was a labor of love, and it's definitely a monument and a memorial to your uncle. Great guy to let you use it when you were young and get you involved in tractor shows and tractor collecting. And he did good by you, man. Thanks a lot.
I blame my great uncle Don just for getting me hooked. I still have yet to find a cure other than
keep collecting, man. Just keep collecting.
Now
there's no cure for tractor fever.
No. Yeah. Now it's just gotten to be where it's getting a little tight in the garage. So now I've gotten into the garden stuff.
Oh, now it's overflowing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, brothers. And this has been Ed Holmes for Red Tractor Nation. Thanks for watching.